So we did a case study on international engagement. My name is David. I am a fourth-year human resources major. I've spent the last few years working with residences and UBC grad.
Hi, my name is Paulina, and I'm in third year studying marketing. And I've spent a couple of years on the Commerce Undergraduate Society and working for the Sauder School of Business Undergraduate Office as a peer advisor.
My name is Jillian, and I'm an international relations major, and I'm the ambassador student worker.
Okay. So in Place and Promise, the international engagement idea is the university creates rich opportunities for international engagement for students, faculty, staff, and alumni, and collaborates and communicates globally. So the main stakeholders we identified in this whole kind of concept are the students, especially the Global Program, the President's Office, faculty offices, who help facilitate exchange programs and service learning opportunities, etc., as well as international partners that we work with, whether that be universities overseas or communities that we go and work within. One of the main barriers to implementing anything that would help us improve these ideas is HR limitations. Anything we do is going to require greater investment in human capital and more money, and that's something that, especially going through the economic situations we're going through now, isn't really readily available. So to kind of overcome that barrier, we were thinking of trying to involve students in the leadership process of international engagement, such as helping them or getting them to run summer programs and take the lead on service learning programs. In Sauder we have an social entrepreneurship 101 program, and one of our students has kind of taken that and spun it his own way and done it in his own community, and taking a group of people there to work and do service learning there, and help. Sorry, okay. It was Paulina's thing, so I thought she wanted to say something about it.
So it was a gentleman who volunteered his time for his own community, and he attracted volunteer professors and volunteer alumni to come back and to help him run the project back in South Africa, just to give back to his community. So that quite impressed me when I saw that, since it was purely volunteer run, purely passion run.
And these are the kind of opportunities that we want to open up for students to both lead and participate in if they want to. So I'll over to Jillian, and she can talk about the overall quality of the programs offered.
So to address quality of experience for the students going abroad and go global, and also to address recruitment, we thought about blogging. So a lot of students go off to exotic locations or less exotic locations, and they're blogging anyway. Some choose to blog to share with their family and their friends. So what we decided or proposed is that you can make a blogosphere, and essentially students who go abroad can volunteer to share their experience, and in a sense they would be reflecting on their experience, and we thought this would be a good way of thinking about the quality of your education somewhere else. You'd be able to assess your experience, but also look at the aims that you had before you left, and if you're accomplishing them now, can you do it later? Also, it would be like a living scrapbook, and basically you'd be sharing your general experience. And so, you can also have comments on this blog, so other students who are reading the blog or have been to the same location you are could say, hey, have you taken this class? This is a really great class, you should take it. Or have you been to the Eiffel Tower yet? That kind of thing. So, yeah, and so the second purpose that blogosphere could have is really giving insight. As I said, it's like a live scrapbook, but it's also like live testimonials. So essentially, students who are thinking of going abroad would be able to read this blog and see what they could experience, what their student experience could be like in Queensland, in Paris, and Madrid. So it's basically like doing research, but you're reading someone else's life, and you can see the pros and cons. So, yeah, blogosphere. And the thing is, like you're talking about HR, we can't hire more people, but it's volunteering people, so that's good for HR. And it just gets more information out there, and it's good for support and engagement.
Thanks, Hillary. Thank you. We'll open up to comments or questions. Sorry, you only get one. Go ahead.
We had talked, so after we wrapped the session, we had a bit more conversation around access and money you want to speak a little, it's a question, guys, but it's many more times, but can you speak a little bit about access and sort of affordability in
Yeah, of
international learning?
course.
Yeah.
We're just had a little bit of too much to talk and too little time. So generally, affordability was the last kind of concern for Go Global. The three key points that came out of our conversations were, first of all, as the team earlier touched up on, is the President's Entrance Scholarship turned into the grant for students to have exceptional learning experiences. And the point was brought up that it might not be the most effective catalyst for the program, but it's a baby step, but it's a step towards actually getting more students interested. So if you get like 100 more people interested after this, it's still a pretty great progress. Another point that was brought up was bringing in the corporate sponsors to support the initiative. So generally the idea here is identifying who would benefit from students being more globally diverse and more globally educated. So identifying the corporations, the international companies that could benefit from it, and really educating them on the fact that they would benefit from this. So we talked about key stakeholders earlier. I think the community and the companies that our graduates would go on to work for is another key stakeholder in this as well that is being identified. And the last one, again, somewhat of a baby step, but I think it would be quite beneficial for the students. For a lot of students, it's the opportunity cost of going on exchange, since they can't really work very much on exchange. So not that they're only paying more money, but they also can't make money while they're on there and while they're on exchange. So perhaps providing students with exhaustive information on work visas and how to find jobs that would be suitable. So jobs that they can find that they can speak in English. To provide some more support on that could benefit the students who can't afford the experience.
I know the emphasis has been on going to international places to take courses. What is your opinion about going to international countries to do something like research? Do you think that would be a good educational opportunity to open that door through Go Global?
I think it would be a great opportunity. In my experience, I'm still an undergrad, and research to me means graduate studies kind of thing. And I don't know if that's a great way to look at it. And I haven't really thought a lot about how this would apply to the graduate programs.
I think it's similar to taking courses as well. It's still a perspective on education and on the way of thinking abroad. I think it could be something that could be explored for graduate students. I know, again, this touched up on by David, not a lot of undergraduate students do research, but for graduate students, I think it would be a great opportunity to save us taking courses for undergrads.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Were you asking as a graduate student or as an undergraduate student?
As an undergrad.
So, just a point of information, there are some research opportunities that I'm happy to point you to afterwards.
I'm interested about the blogging recommendation. Do you think there might be an opportunity to create a virtual intercultural space that essentially connects all these three priorities to one, where you have it's a established virtual space meant to raise intercultural understanding. It's also connected to the students going abroad for Go Global, so they're the ones actually feeding the content, and then part of that is an outreach campaign that adds to the educational enrichment or the enriched educational initiative. So
I could definitely see that happening. I mean, UBC has a foundation already. We have UBC blogs, and I don't know how much is used. I know equity ambassadors use it, but I don't know how much traffic is there. So if we move to an internet kind of community, I think that could work. Yeah.
The other question I have is, in your experience, do students feel more comfortable connecting with different kinds of students online versus whether they could connect with these students in person?
Maybe that's something everyone can answer. I mean, my experience is limited. We have Facebook as an example, and people I think are more willing to speak to each other. People can think about what they're about to say next, and they can think about their questions and really give it some consideration before they ask, instead of maybe just blurting something out or maybe being worried about hurting someone's feelings or something. So maybe it is an opportunity to learn that.
So,
I just wanted to go back to the blogging community thing. UBC's actually already started to have that. I'm part of the UBC blog squad, so my focus right now is on education. But I know there's at least 2 other bloggers who prominently deal with like the international community at UBC and becoming more accepting and the problems of like different like racism and sexism. So it's becoming quite a prominent discussion board for things like that. So I think it's definitely a key door for looking into the future.
and I think that's what we're really trying to hit on is the best learning comes through active discussion and thinking and bouncing ideas off of each other. And if we can create a forum for open discussion that covers exchange and intercultural engagement and Aboriginal issues and what else did we talk about here? Learning opportunities, all those kind of things. Then that's a forum outside of the classroom for amazing learning. Basically unbounded learning opportunities.
Just quickly to build up on your point, I think the idea of integrating all of the 3 aspects together is really good. I have had experience with trying to engage students on different levels and with different stakeholders, and it's quite hard because a lot of people find it confusing when they have to go to 3 different websites and read 3 different pieces of information, and all of them are in different formats. So if there could be one format, like a one go-to place where they can get this exposure, I think that would be a great thing.
Okay, Amanda, we'll just take our third group here.